Well, welcome everyone to the Schuylkill Report. I'm Sam Lesante here with our producer, Jerry Enders, and we have a great show for you today. Jerry, how you been?
I'm doing well. How about you, Sam?
You're getting younger looking, Jerry.
Well, I got a little sun. I got a little tan there going, so it takes the wrinkles away.
So you're excited now the museum is opened?
Museum's open. Sam, we had just a fabulous weekend. Father's Day weekend, I had my friend Bobby Weaver over there at BlackRock. He put together, I'm not real good on the social media platform. I do what I can. And he put together some content for me for the museum for Father's Day. We had a great weekend. We had close to over 100 people this weekend at the museum.
Now, my friends, we're talking about Jerry's museum, a classic car and museum in the Pottsville here. Now, what's the address, Jerry?
394 South Center Street. And Sam, we have our guests coming in, and we're going to be talking more about the southern gateway to Pottsville is growing and thriving and just really turning around. So it's the southern gateway to Pottsville.
My friends, speaking of talking about different things, I want to do a little homework here because as I travel around the different places, many people ask me questions about the shows and, you know, where they could see us and some, etc. So let me just give you a little background for those who have been asking. We established Samson Productions in 1984 and worked with, I had my talent show, the Sam Lesante Spotlight Talent Show course. Of course, I was working that time also with Jack Palance. And, you know, we did national television shows. I worked with Fox for many years, and then in 1994 we went on air. Now, why do we go on air? We went on air for one major reason, was to bring local neighborhood programming to the areas that we cover. And we cover from Pittston all the way down to north of Harrisburg with our steady channels. We also do productions that are seen in Seattle, Washington, Atlantic City, Philadelphia, you name it, throughout the country. And those are separate projects we do. We are going into over 120,000 cable connections, bringing a lot of great information. For example, we're known as a healthcare station. As you know, Lehigh Valley Hospital Network, every month and every day we have various doctors on bringing exciting health news to you. We have Dr. Mead, an orthopedic, one of the most popular in the country. We have Dr. Benyo, it's Your Health, been on for many years. We have Hazelton Eye Care Specialist, Pottsville Eye Care Specialist, on the probably the tops in their field. We have Linda Farley. We have Ambrose Hearing, both hearing experts. And community input, you know, we get all the time. Now, for those of you who have been asking different programs we have, most of these programs are because people request them. So if you see a program on our channel and then you don't see it anymore, it's because they probably don't request it, okay? Such as the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce. We have a number of shows, but at this particular point in time, Bob Carl has not decided to do any of the shows yet, but we're available to him. So these are reasons why these certain shows stop. Working with the public, trying to get as much information to you as possible, and that's the reason why we beat social media. Now, social media is a great thing if it's used properly. The problem is sometimes you run into some serious concerns with social media. We eliminate that. We just come to you and say, here's the fact, as you will hear today with our guest, an entrepreneur, Bill Metzinger. And these are the kind of things we like to present to you. Now, how do we know who's watching? That's what we get all the time. Most of our clients already know who's watching. But for those of you who don't know, we hired Susquehanna Polling and Research, a scientific, they're probably one of the tops in the country. And those results came in, and they were very great. People want to know what's happening in the backyard. This show, which is Schuylkill Report, also a Sam Lesante show, my show is seen by over 60,000 people a week. not because of me, because of the great information we bring to you. And I appreciate that very much. All of our health shows are #1. Every one of our local shows are #1 in their respective time slots. And as the CEO of Samsa Productions, I appreciate that. So just hopefully I covered a little bit. Now, my email, I give it to you every time we do a show. It's sam@ssptv.com. Please give me your opinions, whatever you need, and particularly if you have any ideas for shows, we're always open. This guy here, Jerry Enders, has been involved in the community for many times, and that's why Jerry is, I depend on him in Pottsville to bring information and good shows. And today, Jerry, you got a great show.
Got a great show. We got Bill Metzinger here, and he's one of the entrepreneurs and an investor and a builder. Metzinger Properties. He's done an awful lot in the area. The old the orphanage in Origsburg. I have to really think of that because my mom used to say, Jerry, if you don't behave, I lived in Schuylkill Haven, you're going to the orphanage. Now, here's Bill. He didn't have to go to the orphanage. Maybe he did. But Bill now has the orphanage. But yeah, my mom and most kids growing up in the Schuylkill County, Schuylkill Haven area, Origsburg, used to always get threatened. You didn't get beat or anything as a little kid. You were gotten threatened. You're going to the orphanage.
Yeah, we had that in Hazleton. You're going to Kiss Lynn.
Oh, okay.
Which is the Job Corps. But Jerry, talking about this, we came here in 1999, Samsa Productions.
Yes, you did.
And we're reminiscing the times when we came here, and of course, you were extremely active with the car crews and, of course, many other activities. In perspective of what I just said, because everyone asks me, sometimes, oh, Sammy, what about this? Especially if they don't get our channel. And I meant to tell you, I'm sorry, but in Hazleton, it's channel 13 and 513. Mountaintop is 92, and here, of course, in Schuylkill County, Pottsville is 190. Oh, good news coming, too. Starting in January, Service Electric will also be available in Pottsville.
Really? We're going to go back?
So, no, we'll have Comcast 190 and Service Electric. So, Service Electric now will be able to service all of our shows. They'll be seeing
great.
both shows.
That's a real plus.
But in terms of what I just said in neighborhood programming, and I know this sounds like it's a big plug for us, but how did we affect your division with the car crews, et cetera?
Well, your show, when we got together, 2004, kicking off the bicentennial, Lasting Legacy, 2006, it was amazing because we did have that local station, Channel 7 at that time, and the input that you put into everything really enhanced the car crews. People couldn't wait to see it. They recorded it.
Yeah.
But even with Lasting Legacy would have never earned $2.5 million if it weren't for some of your help and all the volunteers. And with your help and having us on the show, myself, Joe Schlitzer, Joe Jones, John Riley, you had everybody on the show to talk about the benefit of Lasting Legacy and where the money was going to go to build Yingling Park, Jolwyn Park. And the money then got put into permanent endowment to maintain the parks. But your part, as far as the media, TV coverage, you were always there. I mean, I'd call you up and say, Sam, we have this going on or that. But even in the Pottsville car crews, I mean, I remember Sammy riding on the back of my convertible, you're in the front seat, and he's filming. We're stopping at Bob Weaver Chevrolet, interviewing people, the people along the street. And it made it exciting to bring the whole event to the public, no matter who you were. No matter, now sometimes, Sam, you kind of said, Jerry, can we stop here? I said, no, Sam, they have beer. We're going to keep moving.
No, and the point is that's
but it was very helpful. It was
and that was the reason why I started
Right.
with local programming. And of course, I learned a tremendous amount from Jack Palance, and then being in California, working with Sony and advising different people, I learned a lot. I was just telling Bill before the show. Nobody has a monopoly on ideas, but as long as we're achieving that purpose, because when we're done with today's show, the public will know why a person like Bill Metzinger has been such a good asset to the community and what it means to them. And I think that looking at the Schuylkill County itself, throughout the years, you've seen it grow in different areas.
We've
haven't
seen it grow. You and I have seen it decline,
Yeah.
and especially Pottsville, and now Pottsville's back on the rise. It had that little decline in there, depending on who's running the city and so forth, and the energy. And we have Padco, we have Salvus Logothidus, and a lot of new energy. These younger people coming in, and people like Bill making that investment, and it just really makes a difference. The enthusiasm into Pottsville again, and you can see the upswing, Sam.
Well, my friends, we're going to take a break, and I want to thank the sponsors. That's another key thing. We want you to know that we do advertise and we do look for clients, and we have thanked them very much. We'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to the Schuylkill Report. Remember, 24/7, you can see all of our programs on ssptv.com. Our YouTube channel, my friends, go there. For those of you who don't have cable, which you should, we have all of our programs there. And Jerry, we do want to thank some of our sponsors of this show. And who may they be?
Absolutely. Well, Explorer Schuylkill down here, the key to the county, Explorer Schuylkill with tourism. You got to pick up a visitor's guide or go online at explorerschuylkill.com. And we don't want to forget Bob Weaver Chevrolet, Pottsville Eye Care Specialist, Christy Holman, Republican Herald. They cover us all our information and put our schedule in there. Jerry's Northeast Auto Sales and Museum. And, it's just, and we can't forget your favorite place, Sam, our good friend Vito. Vito and Kelly up at Vito's coal-fired restaurant up there. Great people. And I know, Bill, you're sitting here with us. When Sam's in a hurry to leave here, he doesn't want to miss lunch at Vito's.
That's right. Now, speaking of this gentleman right here, Bill Metzinger, we're going to find a lot about him today, if you don't already know. Bill, meeting for the first time, we were talking a little bit, about you and your experiences, and it's ironic, when you look at your past and look at when I had my 20-some stores with the piano and organs, and the fact that you worked, 18 hours a day, for 6-7 days a week. It doesn't come easy, you work at it. But for those people who do not know Bill Metzinger, tell me who you are.
Well, lifelong resident of Schuylkill County. I grew up in Gordon, which is, they call it north of the mountain. And then now I'm south of the mountain. I live in Orrigsburg. Schuylkill County definitely knows the difference north of the mountain and south of the mountain. The last 10 years I lived down in Orrigsburg. Married, I have 7 children, ages 8 through 28. I started young and actually had children up into my 40s. Did businesses my whole life. Started at 17 with our first business.
What was that?
It was actually a commercial pressure cleaning company. We washed cars, we washed trucks, we washed houses, and that was my first entry into business. Did that for 9 years, and then actually I went into financial services for about 10 or 12 years. And then in 2013, I actually started a used car dealership and finance company. And then in 2017, we moved into the real estate. I still have the car business, but we moved into the real estate. Mm-hmm. And from there, we did a tremendous amount of investment in all parts of Schuylkill County, mostly Gordon, Frackville, and Orrigsburg. And just recently, as we'll talk about soon, our venture into Pottsville as of a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. What motivates you?
I enjoy the action. My wife will say I enjoy the chaos. I just like to have a lot of things. I like to have a lot of things going on. I like to, always be active. I tell people I treat noon on a Sunday like a lot of people treat 9 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. We just, go, and it's what I live for. I enjoy doing business. I enjoy doing deals. I enjoy seeing things done. I enjoy accomplishing things. I really enjoy the real estate side because you can take something that's raw and you can turn it into something spectacular, and that you were basically the one responsible for doing that and bringing things back to life. So.
And Jerry, he has a lot of great things going here in Pottsville.
That's why we have Bill here today. I was impressed with his speech and his conversation down at the Miners Bank, which he and his partners have recently acquired, which is going to be the Rosalia Boutique Hotel and Spa. And I'm sitting here with all these newspapers. He's really made the paper, and as he says, he hasn't done anything in Pottsville before. And in his conversation up there on the microphone, he even mentioned that I never thought I'd be in Pottsville, but this opportunity is great. And we think it's great having Bill here and Hannah and Nick as partners, and they're going to do great things here in Pottsville. And taking a 200-year-old bank, which is phenomenal. It's just fabulous with all the marble and the stairways, and so much work is going to go into it. And it's what, 3-point-some million investment.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's okay to say, some help from Dave Argo,
Yep, fantastic.
Padco. Everybody is making an investment in this, and Bill, Hannah, and Nick are spearheading.
Why did you decide to come into Pottsville?
Long story short, I was a judge for a local competition. Actually, a lot of it happened at Alvernia College here where we're filming. And I was a judge, and Nick and Hannah did a fantastic presentation. And as they're talking about it, I'm like, this is something that I could get my arms around.
Right.
This is something that definitely interests me. And they got second place. Unfortunately, they did not win, but they got second place, and we stayed in touch over the next 9 or 10 months. Things fell through with an investor that was supposed to come on board, and I decided to step in and really dig in deep and find out about it and understand more of their numbers and stuff like that.
What did you find out about it? Why did you make that plunge? Because no one just goes in and invests $3 million. But what was the reason why you made that plunge?
I think the biggest part is that there's a need for it. There's a need for a higher-end wedding venue, something you'd have in Philadelphia or New York or something like that. I think people were craving for a better,
Oh, absolutely,
just
Bill.
a better facility as far as that goes.
And the charm of that bank, even if nothing was done, the charm of it is phenomenal.
It's breathtaking.
Yeah, and we've seen it in, like you said, in the cities and stuff. They take these fabulous buildings.
Before you do something like that, as you always do a study.
Yeah.
All right, and as I did with Susquehanna, we need to find the true facts, not
Right.
the BS facts. What did you find when you were doing that? Do you see potential growth for the Pottsville area? I mean, I think you have to. And then what your clients, who would be your people coming in using?
The Pottsville area actually did a study in 2019 that I did look at a few years ago. I thought about another property for a possible Marriott franchise back about 21 or 22. So it was definitely in the back of my mind to consider doing something like this. But the study did show that we did need a higher end hotel, in that 50 to 100 rooms to support places like Yingling, support places like Jerry's Place, that support a lot of industry that's coming in. You have Hydro that has hundreds and hundreds of people.
Hydro has a lot
Mrs.
of
T's
professional
Pierogies.
people come from all over the world and know where to put them unless they go to Hamburg or up to Frackville. And if we can have something right here in the center,
Yeah.
would be phenomenal, especially Yingling. Yingling, I met with them when we did that study, and Explorer Schuylkill invested the $10,000 for that study.
Okay.
So Explorer Schuylkill has made many investments to bring tourism, and Bill has been able to take advantage of that study.
Okay, so I'm watching this from Monterey City or Frackville or Shenandoah, great people, the different Tamaqua. What benefit is that to me, to the community?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's the investment, and I said in my comments when I was at the other night for the press release, it's a domino effect. I mean, if they see us coming in and doing this kind of work, there's a gentleman down the street. He's doing 50 units in one of the old buildings, and the chopping block was brought in. So you see that activity, and I think investors think like, wait a minute, there must be something going on here. There's something good here. Maybe I'll take a look at this. But if you see something run down and beat up and stuff like that, it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. But when you start seeing capital invested and you start seeing properties cleaned up and revitalized, it changes the tune. And everybody business guys and investors, they don't want to miss out on anything.
And it's contagious.
It's contagious. There's no doubt about
It's
it.
very contagious, yeah.
And that's the whole key, and that's what I wanted people to understand. So when I'm watching this from Shenandoah, et cetera, it does have an effect.
No,
Okay, and you're so right. You hit the nail right on the head.
Well, now you talk about somebody like Hydro coming in. They put a lot of their executives in Allentown, like Jerry said, or Hazelton. But if you have a sales meeting with 20 or 30 salespeople, white collar people making good money, and they come into town and they're staying in Pottsville for 3 or 4 nights, they're going to local restaurants, they're going to local bars, they're going to Jerry's, they're touring Yingling, they're spending money. That money goes to the employees. The employees live in the town. It's just a domino effect that I call it. With the money stays here, and it's not going to the other counties, and it's reinvested in this. So it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and the growth, as you had asked earlier, Sam, we can see the upswing in Pottsville, and as they say, Pottsville is the county seat. And what happens in Pottsville, you want to see, as Bill and I were talking about, spread out into the rest of the county. His investment into Origsburg area and the square in Origsburg, it's phenomenal. And with the restaurants down in Origsburg now, he's brought some new apartments, high-end apartments. Those people are gonna, hey, we're not gonna drive. We can walk down to the Mustard Seed or to Valente's. Anybody, you can just walk around town, and he's bringing that into towns and now bringing it to Pottsville.
When do you think this will be completed?
We're hoping to have the wedding venue area done for Christmas. We're hoping to have a pretty big bash for Christmas. I reached out to Bobby Carl in the chamber about possibly doing an event around Christmas time. We're actually going to start doing meetings July 1st for possible weddings for next year. So we're thinking the wedding venue space would be for January, and we're hoping to have the whole thing completed by not quite 12 months, probably 10, 11 months from now. We should have roughly about 30 rooms, along with the venue space, along with meeting spaces.
My friends, we're talking with Bill Metzinger, entrepreneur. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Schuylkill Report. I'm here with my co-host, Jerry Enders, and our guest today is Bill Metzinger, who is an entrepreneur, and we're talking about the Rosalia Hotel, right? Now, for those of you who want to book your events or any information, it's the RosaliaHotel.com. It's on your screen. Anything in closing you'd like to say, Bill?
Well, thank you guys for bringing me on here. This was a really great get to know you, get to hear your history and stuff like that. Look forward to coming on again and certainly giving you gentlemen updates and giving your audience updates.
Jerry will be on
I'm sure
top
he'll
of that.
be. I'm sure he'll be reaching out.
And there again, I want to put a plug in for Padco and Dave Argo and everybody that's been invested into this project, and Salvis and our whole board. They've been very supportive of this
And Pottsville
project.
redevelopment as well.
And the Pottsville redevelopment there and Explorer Schuylkill. So it's all coming together, Sam.
And the thing, my friends, is that it helps everybody in Schuylkill County. This is not just a Pottsville thing. Remember ssptv.com, all of our programs. My email, sam@ssptv.com. Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you have any comments, anything in closing?
Yes, I do. And if you have friends that do not get Comcast 190, you want to share it, just Google ssptv.com.
There you go.
And you can pull up all the shows and our past shows.
That's why he's our producer. We'll see you next time.